Let's call the meeting to order. Wednesday, December 15th, what I believe to be our final meeting of the year of the Water Pollution Control Authority. We have welcome Chris Steiner, who we'll get to know, and we have posted an agenda. Are there any proposed changes to the agenda? Mr. Vice Chairman, yes.
Mr. Chairman, if I might, I'd like to make a motion to add an item B under old business, and that item would be to act upon a request for additional funding for the microgrid project.
There a second on that? Matt, welcome. Second from Mr. Ron Drew. Thank you. All in favor? Adding an item to the agenda. Looks to be unanimous.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Joe. Okay, our first item of business are the approval of the November 17th, 2021 regular meeting minutes. I want to thank Joe and Sheila and John Clancy for getting those in order. They looked neat and clean to me. Any proposed modifications or changes?
Nope.
Is there a motion to approve? Motion from Joe.
Minutes as reflected in the attachment.
Second from Matt. All in favor? Looks to be unanimous. Great. Next item is under new business. Consider an act on election of officers for the 2022 WPCA Commission. Let me before we do that, just preface that all are welcome to participate in such designations. Joe and I had a meeting on Monday with the acting head of Public Works. We had a meeting yesterday at the facility. We have a meeting tonight. This is turning into, it has been over the course of the last couple of years and continues to be a fair amount of work. So we'll see who's nominated and elected, but I would welcome and encourage additional participation by anyone interested. That's enough out of me. I see Matt is, I'm going to interpret that smile as an active willingness of active participation.
Happy to help.
I'll make the motion.
Sure.
I'd like to make a motion to continue. I'd like to make a motion to recommend Mr. Mark Ellison to continue his leadership of the commission for 2022.
Can somebody put mute on that?
Yeah. All right. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second from Ron. All in favor? Aye. Okay.
I'll make a motion that make an alarm going off.
That's somebody on a.
Okay. I think we got it.
Okay. I'll make up once I get off of the officer of the American Legion. I'll be glad to help out there. But right now, every Monday we have an executive meeting or a general meeting. So I'm up to my nose with these people. But I'd like to nominate Joe DeManzo to be this vice chair for the upcoming year.
Second. All in favor? Unanimous. next item, approval of meeting minutes, dates for, let's see if we can figure out what's going on. Yeah, looking forward to in-person meetings next year. Okay. Approval of meeting dates for 2022. Those were circulated in the link. Any proposed changes, comments?
Nope.
Okay. Is there a motion? Go.
I'd like to move to accept the meeting dates as presented in the attachment. The 2022, looks like it's every third Wednesday again. And I verified that we do not run into the Jewish holidays later in the year, so we should be okay.
Yeah. Okay. Does someone have two lines open?
Yeah, something's causing that interference.
Okay. A second on that? Second from Chris. We'll get Chris on the board. Chris Steiner, all in favor? Aye, unanimous. Okay, next item. Consider an act on a request from Fairfield University to connect two multi-story townhome residences with a total of 84 beds to the Fairfield sewer system. I saw Mr. Frassinelli's box. David, are you with us? Terrific.
Yes, I am. I wasn't sure whether you want video or not.
Oh, video is good. If you could give us a brief overview, then we'll open it up to questions and comments and see how the department feels about this.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, committee, for having me this evening. Fairfield University, on the north end of its campus.
I'm sorry. Can we mute maybe call in user 4 and 2? 2. Okay, David.
I think number 4 was the one that seemed like that was creating all the echo.
Okay.
Okay.
I think you have a clear takeoff.
So proceeding north on North Benson Road, if you drive in the last gate to the campus, you end up in what we call our Townhouse Complex, our North Townhouse Complex. We received planning and zoning approval to build 2 new blocks on the north end of campus for student housing. That translates into 84 beds. We received the planning and zoning approvals. We completed the testing in the 2 locations for flows and submitted that information. Chris Cardenet, who was on the phone and available from Lang and Associates, has done our calculations. So both the results of the flow that show the capacity and our calculations that show the proposed fee have been submitted. I believe the check may have been submitted as well. I'm not sure on that. We have no objections to the fee, and we're seeking approval from this esteemed group.
Good. Mr. Bodie, any comments or questions?
I read the report. I don't see any problem with the flow added where it ends up on the post road. I don't see any issue whatsoever. It has my blessing.
So this goes out onto North Benson, or does this go down to Round Hill?
It traverses the campus under Rafferty Stadium and exits out to Round Hill Road, really at the Barlow corner, and then proceeds down Round Hill past to where it comes out by the Hanson Flower Shop. So those are actually the 2 locations, the one down by Hanson's Flower Shop and the other one underneath the thruway overpass.
Comments or questions from the commission? I'll say it was probably, in my mind, the easiest and and most well put together report I've seen in years.
Well, thank you. I wish I could take credit, but our consultants, Langen Engineering, put that together.
Really outstanding. Joe.
Mr. Chairman, I just, David, just wanted to make sure you had a rain event when you were monitoring. I noticed you
I
used.
believe so.
You did. Okay, excellent. And you used a factor of 4, I noticed, which was excellent also. Thank you.
Yeah, so we know these pipes well, there's capacity. Always a pleasure working with Fairfield University. Make things easy for us. We appreciate that. Is there a motion? Joe.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve Fairfield University's request to connect 2 townhouse residents identified as buildings 16 and 17 with a total of 84 bedrooms. This approval will be effective for 2 years. It sounds like we don't need that. Beginning in January, you'll have to come back to us in January 2024 if they haven't started construction. I don't think that'll be a problem. The approval is subject to the payment of $136,765, which is calculated as the sewer usage fee. And sounds like you might have already paid it, but this fee is to be paid when the permit is issued. I don't think there are any other constraints that we need to put on it.
No, I would add that we will not likely need the 2 years as we've started construction and are anxious to get our permits.
Like a second came in from Matt. Thank you. All in favor? Aye. I'm going to just ask one question, and that is, as applicants come in and they seek guidance on what a proposal should look like, can we use this as a proxy?
Happy to share it.
We appreciate it. Really outstanding. Thanks,
We
guys.
will not require a consulting fee either. So.
All right.
Thanks, everyone.
Happy holidays. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank
If
you.
I may, I'll drop off the call now.
You're welcome to stay, but we understand.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Yep. Item 4, consider an act on additional funding for borings for the East Trunk Wetlands Crossing Project. Let me try and muddle through this. This came up last month, and immediately after our meeting, Joe and I had a meeting with, I believe, John Clancy and the engineering department and the contractor. There's a number of documents that were shared with the commission tonight. This relates to the project that about a year ago we sent out an RFP to consider our options relative to the pipe replacement or lining that abuts the Metro Center project, where I think switched from a 36-inch pipe to a 30-inch pipe. The RFP process was complete. We hired a firm. We thought that given the extensive amount of data we have on the Metro Center site, we would be able to use most, if not all, of the test data that we had in-house. It turns out that there are some sites, some locations on that site where we need to bring in a fairly large crane to drill down to see the boring capacity in a few locations. There's some soil work associated with that. The long and short is we need about $31,000 to do that amount of diligence. Both Joe and I listened in on the call with the contractor. The rationale seemed to make sense. I think if we had the capacity to, had we had the capacity to approve it, we would have at that point in time. but it's really more appropriate to bring it to the commission for additional budget requisition of approximately $31,000. So, with that, are there any comments or questions on that?
Mark, what are we looking to get out of the borings? Is this for environmental testing or it's for subsurface investigation, like figure out soil? Okay.
Yeah, it'll be interesting what our options are relative to the lining or replacement of that pipe. But before we go further on that, we have to figure out what the soil in that vicinity is.
Right.
How deep is the pipe there?
Matt, I think you dropped right before that call came in. By the way, I was hoping you had an 8:45. I was hoping to include you on that, but that's what we discussed right after you dropped.
Okay.
So it's more or less memorialized in the documentation that John Clancy included with tonight's meeting.
Now,
Chris, yes.
Chris Snyder. Now these, I just went through the let's see, your soil borings there, and you had two different proposals. Why was there such difference between one compared to the other for the borings?
Can you be more specific? Different in terms of what?
Or maybe I was looking at the old ones. I'm just trying to catch up on some of that. So I might have been looking at the old proposals for the because did you get proposals for the new borings? Is that why you're asking for the $31,000 additional? Or was these the old ones that I looked at?
I'm sure I understand the question.
Yeah, let me I'd have to go back to the document, sorry.
So D&B was hired through an RFP process.
Okay.
And then I think the most relevant email is the November 15th to Bill Hurley.
Okay, thank you. No further questions.
Christian, you're on mute.
No further
Just to
questions.
clarify,
Thank you.
these are new borings as opposed to old borings that haven't been done or are more costly at this point.
Yeah, when they talked about the size of the crane that they needed to bring to the site to do the boring, I actually thought it would be significantly more money. It's a pretty massive structure. So we need to get this done. As we know, the Metro Center site has changed hands again. We need to get moving on the either replacement or the lining of this pipe that will be in the millions of dollars. So we have this $31,000 point of procedure really kind of holding us up from moving forward on that. Yeah,
You want a motion, Mr. Chair?
would love one.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to provide up to $31,000 funding for borings for the East Trunk Wetlands Crossing Project. That's simple.
Second from Matt. All in favor? Aye. Chris, are you abstaining or is that an aye? You're on mute.
I'm abstaining, sorry.
Okay, Chris abstains. Okay. Next item are sewer adjustments. There are 4. I'm going to turn this part of tonight's programming over to Joe, who's been working with John Clancy on these 4 specific adjustments. I will say also that Joe and I met with the acting head of the Department of Public Works about getting approval back to the department to make some level of adjustments, quote unquote, at the counter, so that these do not need to come to the commission, and we don't need to bring these homeowners in to kind of adjudicate water leaks. So I believe that will move forward hopefully quickly, but until that process, that policy is in place, they reside with us for adjudication. So, Joe, would you mind running point on these? I think that would probably be the most efficient way of.
No problem.
Going
Let's
through
go
'em.
with the
Thank
first
you.
one. Right, 222 High Ridge Road, Raul Herrera. Mr. Herrera on the call?
No, he got in touch with me today, Joe, and said he won't be able to make it.
Okay, thank you. The situation, he had a leak, and just so everybody knows, over the last 3 years, he's had a minimum water bill. This year, we billed him $1,044.96. So Aquarian acknowledged the leak. So my only question and maybe you can answer it, John Clancy, did he pay the $1,044.96?
Yeah, so,
Okay.
yeah,
He's asking, and the second part of that is, he was not looking for a cash back. He was looking for a credit of that.
a credit, right.
Okay. So what I would suggest to the commission is we reduce his bill to $150, which is our minimum usage. And we request credit to go to his account at 222 High Ridge Road for $1,494.96. Less the 150.
Is there a second? Second from Chris. All in favor? Aye.
They'll get more interesting as we go along, guys. Don't worry.
You promise?
Promised. But here's an interesting one. I know I saw McGoldrick on the call before. I don't know if they're still on.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Okay.
Well,
Okay. So Julie has come to the commission, and I will summarize it for you, Julie. She filled her pool in March. Chris, just so you know, you're the new gentleman. We generate our bills based on December through April's usage and then multiply by 2.4 to get to an annual. The reason we do that is to stay out of the problem of people filling their pools, watering their lawns, etc., which we don't see in our sewer system. Unfortunately, Julie filled her pool in March. Hence, we captured that 35,000 gallons, naturally multiplied it by 2.4 for that period of time, and she wound up with a significant bill. What I am proposing to do is to recalculate Julie's bill, eliminating the month of March, which was the month she filled her pool, and using the other 4 months, multiplying December, January, February, March, and May. No, December, January, February, and March, multiplying by 3, using her consumption, multiplying by 3, which would give us an adjusted bill of $510.60. To validate that number, I then went back and looked to see what their prior years have been. And last year's bill was $480.60. Hence, with our 5% rate increase, that 510 is right in order. I do have Julie on the phone, so I will let her make any comments she would like to make, and then I'll go back to the commission.
That sounds like a good recap to me, and that's exactly what I was looking for.
Okay.
Tony,
So the
great
motion
having a
is
CFO on
to
the
adjust the
commission.
calculation, eliminating March and coming up with an annual invoice of $510.60. And then Julie or John Clancy, did Julie pay the bill? The larger bill?
Julie, you did,
I paid the first payment, which I think was like 480, so I can come down to the town hall and pay the remainder.
Okay,
Okay,
so the motion will be to pay the difference between the monies that she's paid and the 5, 10, 60 cents, which we've just calculated.
right,
That's the motion.
Perfect, thank you.
okay.
Beautiful. Is there a second?
second
Second
that.
from Mr. Ron Drew. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, unanimous. Joe, you're on a roll. Keep going.
Okay, the next one is 974 Fairfield Beach Road. Stephen, I'm gonna kill it. Nidek?
Very close. Nidek. Pronounce the G, that's all.
Had too many in there. Okay. This one's more interesting. Stephen, why are you coming to the commission? I see you had a leakage, but your leakage was in July.
No, my what? My leakage was.
Based on what I saw on your the documentation that you submitted.
No, I think you're looking at the wrong documents. I sent an email to John and I could read it to you if you'd like, but. Huh?
I have your email dated
Yeah.
November 2nd.
No, dated November 23rd.
Okay, then I don't have that one. Okay, so if you wouldn't mind, give the commission a 1-minute overview of what you're requesting, please.
Sure, absolutely. So when I got my bill, it was basically triple. My bill has been averaging about $300 for the past 5 years. And I got a bill for $970 something, almost $1,000. So I freaked out, of course.
152.
Yep. So I kind of freaked out, and I looked at the the year-to-year thing comparisons, and then so you guys do December, January, February, March, April, okay? And my high 3 months were December, January, February, and then it dropped down in March, and I had my toilets fixed in March, okay? So the leak went, unfortunately for me, because I wasn't paying much attention to it, undetected for 3 months. And my proposal is I took 5 years from the Aquarian report, my past 5 years previous usage for December through April, and took an average of those. And I feel it would be fair if, that average was used for this year, the most recent billing, because it was an aberration. And I came up with a calculation. John, do you have this, by the way? I sent it to you.
I do have that. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I sent a calculation which requested an adjustment of 137. What is it, cubic? What's the measuring
Yeah.
thing?
Per 100
Yeah.
cubic feet.
Cubic feet, right. From my bill. And the bill was, I think, 211 or right around there, 212. So
211.20 was your, okay.
Right. So I'm looking to bring that down. For adjustment of 88, 237. So 211 minus 137 would be the amount that would then be, I would be billed on.
Okay. I'm going to have to apologize to Stephen. Stephen, I'm going to take this offline with you, if you don't mind. I want to go through the calculations with you because I'm looking at your consumption from December 2020 to
Right.
March 2021. And I'm looking at numbers that are 10, 18, 24, 24, 18, and 4. It looks like you've got a number of 53 way back in July of 2020, which I assume to be when you had leak. I'm looking at the Aquarian numbers and their billing history. So I am not prepared to go through the calculation that you just outlined. I apologize.
Well, that's fine, except, if that was the case, it would have been consistent every month.
Right. That's why I assumed it came all the way down to 20, 28, 22, 10 the rest of that summer. But then it shot back up in December 20, January 21, 22, 20, so that's what confused me. Your consumption was 1 month out of the ordinary, which I made the erroneous, sounds like the erroneous assumption you had a leak in July of 2020. Then you dropped down to almost what looks like a really your normal consumption, 20, 28, 22. And then the hour period, 18, 24, 24, 18, and 4, which was the confusing part to me.
Yeah, I'm not sure why you're going back to July because that's not part of the calculation, you know.
But I was looking to where the leak was. I don't see where the leak occurred.
Well, again, I think if you look at it, it started in December, January, and February is when the leak was running or whatever you want to call it. And I had it fixed in March. I have a plumbing bill that shows I had both toilets replaced. I gave John a copy when I stopped in person. So that's the period.
Okay. So that would be 88 times 2. So you're proposing 211.20 as your sewer bill.
I'm sorry, what?
The amount you, based on that calculation, is $211.20? Based on using the average of last year?
It would be the 211 cubic feet minus the 137 times the rate. That's what I think the bill should be.
Yeah, I can do it. Let me do it real quick. Get this done. 74 times the rate.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. The numbers are kind of all over the board.
Yeah, that's the problem I had.
You know, we're September 18 CCF. August. I'm wondering if the leak was fixed.
Well, it was absolutely fixed.
Down in April, it drops down to 4. I don't see anything after that in the from Aquarium bills.
On the printout I have, it then jumps back up to in May 10, June 27, which is quite a bit. July 18, August 13, September 18.
Yeah. Let me make a recommendation that we take this back offline. This is the one that confused me the most because it was going up and down and I couldn't figure out where the leak was that we were trying to adjust for.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
John, do we have Stephen's phone number? Let me just get it.
I do.
You do? Excellent. I didn't want to do it over the call. Okay. Stephen.
Hey, let me just say, we want to do what's fair, what's equitable, what's right. We have a bunch of numbers flying around right now. And I don't think we're going to get it right on the fly, but we can get it right within a day or so.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm not in a hurry for sure.
Now, Stephen, have you paid your bill?
I paid the first installment, which was $480 I believe.
Okay, so there'll be a refund when we make this adjustment when I've calculated. Okay, we will call you within the next few days. I'll get together with John and work this out.
Okay. Yeah, just leave me. I don't know if you had my home phone or my cell phone. I'll just give you the first 3 numbers. The home phone is 259, and the cell phone is 885 after the 203, of course. So I'm just wondering which phone you're going to call me on, so I can.
Whichever one you'd like.
Oh, you have both numbers?
Yeah. I'll call you on the one you just gave me if that works.
Okay. I gave you 2. The 259 is my home
make
number.
Sure you're
885 is my cell. So.
Okay.
Whichever one you want. Okay.
Thank you, Stephen.
Just leave a message then. Okay, we'll hook up. Thank you.
We'll sort it out. Thanks.
Okay, thanks. Yep. Bye.
Bye. 1174 Bronson Road.
1174 Bronson is an easy one. It's Colonial Nursery. We're going to make a motion to adjust the 2021 sewer use bill to a minimum bill of $150. We've done it in the past. The water is used to water the flowers more than because going to our sewer system, but there is toilets and some other things on the property. So I'd like to make.
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay.
You can hear me.
Stephen, another Stephen. Is there anything else we need to know?
Well, I haven't had an adjustment properly made for the last 4 years. And last year, I was promised that it was going to be taken care of, and it never was. And those people that I talked to in the beginning when I first got my bill obviously aren't around anymore in the sewer department.
Right.
And nothing got done last year, nothing got done the previous year. And I paid the bill the previous year. Last year, I only made one payment because I kept being promised that they would do something and send me a correction. Still waiting for it. And this year, I talked to Mr. Clancy early on, and eventually I had to call again and was told, just go through this meeting. But it's basically just my wife and I in our house. Our house is on the same property, so we do use water for the house. And there is a toilet in the greenhouse for our employees, but we're closed the month of January, so there's nobody around. But we're still watering plants all the time. And then March and April, we're watering plants outside too. So a huge amount of our water goes into the ground,
Right.
not into the sewer.
So Stephen, again, I'm going to ask to defer, but I promise we will call you within the next 2 days. I will get together with John. My proposal will be to take your last 3 years' bills. That's as far back as we can go by state law.
Mm-hmm.
And give you credit for those 3 bills, whatever you paid, and then take those same 3 years and charge you the minimum rate of $150 a year. So
Okay,
it would
that would be
the-
fine because the bill this year I think was like $690 something.
Yes, it was just under 700, looks like.
Yeah.
So it will be, your 3 years will be $450, and I will find out what you've paid over the last 3 years and subtract that out. So it sounds like you'll be getting a check for that amount.
Okay.
Okay.
Joe,
Okay.
this is Ron. Joe, this is Ron. I have a question. What do we do going forward? What do we do going forward?
Okay. In years gone by, Ron, before we had the disruption in the department, we had a list of places, the cement factory that we've adjusted last month, the nurseries. We had a nursery last month. We have a nursery. We're going to see a farm coming up, an old business tonight. We've had a list of the counter folk were adjusting. Okay, there's more than these nurseries, and there's a couple more farms out there that we did not adjust this year. So we need to recreate that list. We need to find that list, recreate it, and make sure before we ever generate the bills, we need to make those adjustments.
Yeah, that's something I've been told for the last 4 years, that because the bills get sent from an outside source, they never correct it in time.
That is
it never
correct.
gets corrected then.
Right, that is correct. That's why, Stephen, we're having this discussion, but the list needs to be updated, and it needs to be done ahead of, before we send the request out to that third party that actually generates the bills.
Okay.
Okay, I'm aware of the problem, and we are addressing it.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay. And
Talking to the right Joe, because Joe will do it.
2 days. Sorry, Ron?
I said, you're talking to the right guy with Joe. It'll get done.
Yeah, I'll get it done. Okay.
Joe, is it fair to go 150 as that's our minimum use charge now, but it was a lower minimum use charge over the past 3 years?
Now, the 150, we didn't raise it this year, did we? I've got to go back and look. I didn't think we raised it. It's been 150.
I don't think so.
I made a proposal we would raise it, Kristen, but we didn't raise it. I was voted down.
Yeah, it may have been raised not this year, but the year before. So it might be worth looking at.
I will look.
Yep. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, I'm turning it back to you.
Well, we're gonna move right along, and then I'm gonna go back to you. Old business. 1450 Fairfield Beach Road. Mr. Gregory Sargent.
Okay. Sergeant, are you on the call?
Yes, sir, I am.
Okay, let me just give a brief overview, and then if you need to say something, I'll let you say it. Mr. Sargent has a farm on Fairfield Beach Road, and that farm has a meter, a water meter. And over the years, Mr. Sargent has been charged based on that water meter usage. Now, there's nothing other than a farm there, so the water is not coming into our sewer system. So I am going to make a motion, and may not be the right position for Mr. Sargent. He may not be happy with it, but I'm limited by the law. I'm going to make a motion to adjust the last 3 years of what we have charged Mr. Sargent, which was in 2019, he was charged $106 on that meter. On 2020, he was charged $299. On 2021, he was charged $2,141 for a total of $2,546.84. I am making a proposal that we credit the last 3 years back to Mr. Sargent. Simply because that again would wind up on that list that we were just talking about that should have been zeroed out. We have a number of farms around town, and this is the first gentleman coming in with a farm and a request that we overbuild. So that's it in a nutshell. Mr. Sargent, did I leave anything out as far as facts for the last 3 years?
No, sir, you have not. If I understand the position of the town and the state, generally speaking, you can only go back 3 years. Is that correct?
That's a state law, yes, sir.
Yeah, and that's a shame, of course, because I've been paying for 18 years. So that is a mistake by someone. I don't know if that's the town or Aquarian or Bridgeport Hydraulic back in the day, or whose issue that is, but I'm wearing someone else's error, and that's unfortunate. My other question I have for you is, I have to be charged $150 per year just to maintain a water meter on my property?
No, I suggested that meter, that 00085 meter, that's the last 4 digits on it, you would be zeroed out because you're a farm and you don't have any toileting or anything else on the property.
Okay, moving forward.
Not a minimum. I'm not recommending a minimum bill in your case. I'm recommending a zero bill.
Okay, I understand. So if I can't fight the state here and this commission, and I have to accept you at face value and say, that's fine with me.
Well, I don't know if you could fight the commission, but I guess you have recourse to the town attorney and ask him. I mean, I don't know if anybody on the commission has any other ideas and thoughts, but we are limited to what we can do, and it's up to 3 years. And that I think I've given you the max I can do for you.
I understand. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I think if you were to go back 15 years, the minimum fee was probably $25 is what I would guess. So maybe you were getting a bill for $25 for a few years, and maybe that then went up to 50 or 75. Joe's making a face.
I don't know what he was charged, if he was charged usage or a minimum. That I don't know.
We don't know. And one of the things here is that there's a paucity of data. So we're working with kind of what we have, and we're in essence setting a new precedent here. We've never had a situation where a client of ours who has a water meter does not receive a sewer bill. I'm recusing myself from this, but I'm perfectly fine with that.
Yeah, I agree. If you have no sewer connection, you shouldn't be paying a sewer bill.
So the motion is to refund $2,546.84 to Mr. Sargent.
That is correct, which represents what he's paid in on that meter for the last 3 years.
Matt.
I'll second.
Got a second? All in favor? Christian, Chris, Ron, Joe, and I abstain. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Sargent.
Thank you,
Appreciate
gentlemen.
your patience on this. I know it's taken a while.
Okay, thank you very much for your efforts, your volunteer time.
Thank you. Okay, let's move forward to an update on the current projects.
Mr. Chairman,
Sir,
we made an adjustment to the agenda and I have a B item under.
yes, of course. My mistake. The item that we are adding is a discussion. There he is, Mr. Bodie. Your box moved.
I thought I was in the corner the whole night. What?
I panicked there for a second. Tell us what's going on here.
It's been quite a day of me getting hammered for money. And the first item was about the Yankee Electric change order that was given back in May, which was addressed in the May sewer commission meeting, which you approved $144,388.43, which is listed in this latest email, but it's short $91,166.57, which goes back to, I believe, the 3 boxes for fire training, for conservation, for the dog pound. So where do they come first looking for money but here? Now it mentions in here that Joe said he would approve, you guys would approve the 144, but nothing else. So they're still looking for more money. So apparently Yankee can't fully mobilize and do what they got to do without that 91,166.57.
Yeah. Does the dog pound have a budget?
Do they have what?
Do they have a budget?
They must have something.
Yeah.
Yeah, we gotta pay for food.
Joe, you're on mute.
You're on mute.
Start over.
John, just so I understand, the work they need to do is for the benefit of the fire training center, the dog pound, and this, Christian, you'll recognize this as last January's issue that I voted against, and we pushed something through then.
Without it being, it's not really spelled out in this correspondence I got from Laura, but that's what I'm assuming.
Okay, because that's what it was back then.
Right, and it still is, but
Okay.
It's the WPCA. It's the WPCA project, so we have to pay for it.
And the other thing I will mention to the commission is the town and the commission had an agreement for that project that it was a 50-50 split, and now I'll keep my mouth shut.
Now, on top of that, we also got this lovely 74-page packet from Holzner about additional work that they did for the microgrid, removing contaminated dirt and the like. Now, as I'm reading through it again here, I don't know how much they're looking for. Because it's here it says 114, then over here it says 159, and then it says 62. So I will go back to Laura and ask her exactly what it is they're looking for. Are you guys open to discussion about paying for it?
Go.
The 114 number is recognizable to me. We approved, I believe, back in January of this year, Christian's motion. I believe we approved the 114 up. We approved the 114, and Christian's terminology was no more. And that, if I remember correctly, I was quite impressed with that no more part of it. That's what I remember.
You know what? I printed that out.
Okay, what does it say, please?
And it says, Christian motion to provide the additional funds in the amount of $115,000 and no more to support the cost overruns on the microgrid. Seconded the motion, which carried unanimously 4-1.
Yeah, I was the absent, I was against. Right.
Yes, yes, you are.
So,
All right, how do we move this forward? I mean, we need to get this done. The costs are only going up. And I guess someone within town hall can try and broker a deal with the dog pound and the fire center and try and allocate the expenses. But at some point in time, things are just getting more expensive, so.
What is the additional work specifically that we did not approve?
which part? You mean the one from May was for the additional hardware for, which I'm assuming is the dog pound, the fire training center, generator, automatic transfer switches, 800, 400, 200, transformers, disconnected fuses, copper feeder cables, etc. I can send this to you if you want. This was dated 5/11/21 from Yankee Electric.
Yeah, John, I'm gonna suggest that you have a conversation with Laura and ask her how she wants to guide this through. Laura's terrific, but she's also retiring early next year,
Yeah.
and we want to try and get this resolved. My position is we're all the same town. You know, if we pay a bit more, I'm okay with that, but that I may be a minority on that. Can the decision wait till January?
Well, you know,
You-
paid, they want to get paid, they want to get paid, but you know what? They can wait till January. What's another 4 weeks? I mean, in the grand scheme of things.
John, did you say part of that they did the work?
Part of,
Done?
as far as what? The microgrid?
As far as anything that you're asking for money, they've completed work, it sounded like when you said it.
Well, they've done some stuff, but it's still far from being complete. The whole,
In the money you're asking for, was their work done? They're not supposed to be doing that. They're not supposed to be doing the work and then coming after the
no,
fact.
they haven't done any of that. I guess they're waiting for that money to continue to do it.
Okay. They
Yeah,
haven't done it.
I read the emails that came out this afternoon, and it looks like they're looking for a purchase order to go forward and finish
Okay.
this and get this project wrapped up.
That's not, I'm sorry, I must have misunderstood the way you said it, John.
No, my apologies if it came across the wrong way.
No, my
No,
bad.
and in fairness to John Bodie, I'm fairly certain he knew next to nothing about this project prior to like yesterday.
I got 18 emails from Laura today saying, we need this, we need
Yeah.
this, we need this, we need this. So,
Yeah.
and I have to get clarification on this because it says a total here of 114,896, which may have been covered by the 115 that was approved back in January. And then there's a second page and I don't know exactly what it means. So I have to get clarification on that.
Christian, you're on mute.
It'd be helpful to know exactly what we're being asked to pay for, because it sounds like there's an additional monies for the boxes, but then also additional funds within a separate email for other work. So I don't know if it's possible to get a list of exactly what work needs to be done and the costs of each of those steps.
Okay, the stuff from Holzner Construction is stuff they already did. Contaminated material that they had to remove to put a pad in at the building across the street and other stuff. So this stuff here is done. Hazardous waste removed and.
Yeah, but that may be included in the 114 we already approved. We just don't know. We're not gonna figure it out tonight. We know probably 20% of what we need to know.
I tried to get a breakdown and say, listen, does anybody keep track of where money comes from and where it goes to and how, you know what I mean? And there's no answer for that. I don't know.
We're kind of accustomed to it.
Some more information from her for next month.
Yeah, I would ask Laura if she can give us a less than one-page memo summarizing the situation and show that there's some fair and equitable participation from the other beneficiaries of the microgrid.
Okay.
And then we'll see if we can get it by Joe. I don't know.
John, more importantly, you're okay at the plant. The microgrid project is doing what it's supposed to be doing for the plant. No.
No, it's not hooked up.
It's not hooked up. There's more stuff to do here. There's more stuff to tie in at the building across the street. There's conduits that are empty. There's transformers that are missing. So
Please ask Laura whether that's covered in the contingency or the 114 or whatever, please.
Okay.
Let's get all the numbers on a piece of paper.
I'll go out there and say that we should spend, we can wait till January, but my sense is we're going to be in the same place, include relative to the kind of audience participation, that we should pay it. And if other groups want to tap into the microgrid, then we assess them some sort of fee to do that. But we have to get this done. We need it, and it just keeps getting more expensive because we're waiting for other beneficiaries to do something that they're probably not going to do.
it's entirely possible and likely.
Okay, so no decision, no action taken on that. Okay, we move on to item 5, the update on the current projects. John, why don't you take us through those in kind of priority order?
Yeah, sure. Some of these we already touched base on, but the first one was the update for the Eastern Turnpike pump station project. It's all operational now. Last I heard they were going to be paving in the spring, but John, did you say the plants are still open? They might start doing.
As far as I know, the plants are still open. The gas line has been run to the building. They're waiting on Southern Connecticut Gas to put the meter in the pressure, whatever part on it to hook it up to the generator.
Yeah.
But the line is in the ground and to the building. So they could pave if they got it all graded next week. But I don't know if they will.
So if not, not next
John,
week,
I
in the
was told
spring.
that the plant is closing on Friday.
No.
Just for your
Friday.
information.
So we're
So
looking at spring.
probably spring.
Yep.
Yeah, probably spring then. Okay.
So the only item really left, immediate item over the next couple of weeks is to get an invoice to Sacred Heart for $500,000.
Oops. Sacred Heart, $500,000. Have anything on that?
Yeah, it's not their first invoice on this, so hopefully there's someone, I don't know what department that is, that sends out an invoice.
Okay.
We checked with the CFO.
Okay. Will do.
So Devonta, do you have a sense of who that might be?
Yes, Sacred Heart, from what I was told, has been notified that the project is done. They claim they're running a process through their legal department. So I guess Jared, CFO of the town, is in contact with them.
Okay.
Good. All right. So next is the status, the update for the East Trunk Interceptor sewer relocation. Ty and Bond has performed the borings and we're waiting results, so there's no change really on that. The East Trunk Wetlands crossing from Metro Center to Kenwood Avenue. The engineer and geotech determined that 2 additional borings would be needed to be done. And the work will begin on January 26th now. Status update for the Riverside Drive siphon replacement. There's no current update. Tigard Bond has revised construction estimate to reflect the review the comments. WPCA outfall repair project. Go. You have something to say, John?
Yeah, we just put in for a PO for 9,600 for Wright Pierce to look at the possible ways of diverting flow so we can get the repair done. So we're moving somewhat forward on that.
Okay, microgrid status, we just touched base on. Wastewater treatment plant funding needed for engineering services and design.
Let me jump in here and foreshadow for next month that as we go forward on the plant upgrade, that's still on track, but there's some kind of, I'll call them catastrophic failure concerns around 3 or 4 pieces of equipment that can't wait a number of years for the plant upgrade. John Bodie was kind enough to give Joe and myself a tour of a few of those.
A good time was had by all.
Still can't get that smell out of my nose. That.
I wore it all day.
Yeah. And we will we'll discuss those in January. They're probably on order of magnitude $500,000 each. Fairly large, specialized pieces of equipment that have reached their end of their useful life, need to be replaced. I'm thinking those expenditures can probably come out of our $10 million operating fund.
So those are going to be designed separately from the rest of the plant then? They'll be fast tracked to some extent?
Yeah, Matt, we could really use your thoughts and input on that also as we think about that. Make sure that we're not installing something that is then rendered obsolete by a plant upgrade. They seem to be plug and play items to me, like the composting.
Yep.
Thing. But your input would be really helpful there.
Sure.
I'm sorry. Phase 3 of phase 4 and is I&I rehabilitation projects. Phase 3 punch list items are to be completed, and phase 4 is in design.
It will be bid probably within the coming weeks. Phase 4.
Yeah. We get to the bottom of that. Carriage Drive sewer extension. Town engineering is reviewing specs and plans and are writing the RFP for the bid. And they're still waiting on the data and road condition evaluation for that project. I talked to Bill Hurley the other day. He said he's still waiting on that. The Thorpe Street Sewer Relocation Project, the contractor will relocate the sewer on property and CCTV lines through the wetlands. There's no update on the Upper East Trunk Interceptor sewer relocation. The pipe size reduction in Stratfield Road from Woodfield Village to Owenfish Park, there's no update. And 15 Unclewood Road project flow monitoring is still in progress. They just missed it. They just missed it last time, so we're still waiting on the flow monitoring.
And that Uncle Road is for an additional housing? Is that what that's for?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, John, I would be curious when those monitors went in the ground. that was a significant rain event. And I want to make sure that
Yeah,
that we're
okay.
just not ignoring that data. You
Yeah,
can find that one.
yeah, he missed the last rain event was 0.47 inches. We needed 0.50. So he even asked if we could make an exception, and I was told, it's got to be 0.50. There's no exception. So
Okay.
just missed it. So, and I was in touch with him last week about that.
Okay. The one item that we will add to this that is the town has on their list that's not on our list is what we'll call the north of 95 Rooster River pipe, the lining or replacement. And now that it strikes me that if we're thinking about using modern advances in pipe installation, that's something that we should tie you into sooner rather than later. Because popped on our radar a couple days ago when Joe and I met with John Marsilio. We were not aware that it was on any list. And it's a potential number we saw was $12.5 million. It's the and the Rooster River is prone to overflowing. There's a pipe that runs alongside it over by the Board of Ed building up to the that abandoned car dealership. So that's a project that we'll need to get onto the list and begin to prioritize that and move that forward.
Okay, you got it. And that's all I've got, guys.
Are there any comments or questions on those, Andrea?
Yeah, comment. Joe and I talked. I think that John, you did an excellent job tonight going through the projects because, we don't want to dwell on this all night, like the 30-second manager. And pardon my voice, by the way, because I got to go to the doctor, the procedure that I had. Anyway, the other thing is, I don't know if you can put an ETA on this, just that, on the ones where we're saying reviewing the specs and plans for writing an RFP, and others where it says full monitoring and process, or, anything that's got action items that have to be done. Is there a way we can add a guesstimate, an ETA guesstimate that says we anticipate this to be done by, March or whatever, just so that it kind of gives us an idea. And then as we move forward with the meetings itself, you could say, okay, we're getting close to this. Is it going to happen or is it going to be pushed out some more? So it's almost like just a general date. That's all, just something that's a guesstimate. I don't know that anybody else agrees.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's a great ad. I think we should prioritize. Let's go through the list and prioritize it to some. Those that are closest to funding.
That's a good point, and that's something, especially on the ones that are either in design or flow monitoring. I mean, we've got engineering consultants doing it. We can ask them provide schedules. So.
Thank you.
Okay. Any sewer bypasses?
None.
Oh.
None. Yeah, we're doing good. I shouldn't have said that.
Wow.
Yeah. All right. Before we wrap up, I'm not quite sure the status of if I believe Quinn may have resigned. I will personally reach out and thank him for his service over the years. I'm not sure of Christian's status. I know that his term is technically run its course. I'm not sure what the town is thinking. The town doesn't consult with us on these matters, which is their prerogative. I do want to say that as I said in the beginning, Christian always shows up prepared, he's on point, he's to the point, and, you know, it's a volunteer position, and I appreciate all the thought, all the effort has gone into it. I remember that COVID beard. I'll never forget that. That was entertaining. I'm sure I speak on behalf of all the commission in thanking you.
It'll be sorely missed, Christian. Sorely missed.
Yeah, well, it's sort of an anticlimactic end. If it is the end, I guess I wasn't even aware of when my term ended. So, but it's been a while for me. I'm certainly willing to continue in a capacity if possible in the future. And if this is the end, I appreciate everything. And the commission has come a long way since I started. 8 or 9, possibly 10 years ago. So
yeah,
I appreciate the work and the efficiencies that have been created over the past 4 or 5 years.
Christian,
We'll be
just
back
it's not
next
the
year.
last person. The town needs more people like you.
Christian, you have to
Sorry,
sit
Joe,
out
what?
for a year, and then you could come back on the commission.
Yeah,
Based on
I will.
town
I'll keep an eye on the newspaper and see when the next opening appears.
Yeah, yeah.
We'll give you a
I'll
call.
find you, Chris.
Yeah.
I apologize if I'm taking anyone's space. I honestly didn't hear any of this, so I apologize if I'm stepping on any toes too.
Chris,
No,
I'm sorry if that was implied at all.
Chris,
no, not
they
from
didn't
this.
tell you had to call. They didn't tell you had to call the commissioner that you're taking a spot from and let them know before the meeting.
I don't know what I stepped into.
Chris, it's
So
not
I
your-
apologize. I never meant any. I didn't even know. So
No.
I didn't want to step on any toes. I'm just
okay,
letting you guys.
Chris Steiner, you're on the
Chris
commission.
Steiner, you keep your door locked, okay?
Yeah.
Chris, it's
Chris
not
Steiner, I
your
believe
issue.
you're.
In honor of Christian, I wore my baseball cap. Miss you, the Grayson. They're gonna miss you.
All right.
But come back a year from now.
I
That's what
appreciate
I did.
everything. It certainly keyed me into what's going on in the town, and never really knew the importance of a sewer system until you have the opportunity to see what happens underneath the ground. So it's been a good run.
Christian, there's no reason you can't dial in every month to our meetings. They're on the third Wednesday of the month.
I'll keep an eye on that. I've got my access code written down over here. So.
That's great. All right, and Chris Steiner, again, welcome to you. I will reach out to you right after the holidays, and maybe we can grab a cup of coffee, and I'll bring you up to speed as much as I can on what the WPCA does and what we have in front of us, which, as you probably gathered from tonight, is quite a bit.
Yeah, it is quite a bit, and I did meet with Bucky. Let's see, last week. So he kind of gave me an update, and to be honest with you, I thought everyone knew about it. So I apologize if there was any miscommunication, but I met with Bucky. Let's see, last Thursday, and he kind of gave me a little update.
We don't let miscommunication get in the way of anything.
Yes,
We go.
I
carry
agree.
on.
I agree.
Happy holidays.
Does Tom
everyone.
McCarthy know that he's on? Does Tom McCarthy know that he's replacing Quinn?
Announced at the selectmen's meeting on Monday when Chris was
Yeah.
announced, but I have no idea.
We'll figure it
Yeah,
out.
Brenda's agenda actually, said that Chris would be taking over for Christian and Tom would be taking over for Quinn.
Ron, where are you pulling that from?
On this selectman agenda, I get the agenda every week from Brenda, or from Brenda's office, and in that they talk about how, who is leaving because they've ended their term and who is replacing. There were a lot of them last week.
Yeah, it was the December Board of Selectmen meeting, the December 6th Board of
Right.
Board of Selectmen meeting.
Gotcha,
That's what I
Right.
saw.
gotcha.
Tom Clancy, I'm gonna give you a call tomorrow morning, okay?
Sure.
Got
Got
those
it,
two
Joe.
people we gotta deal.
Yeah, we'll talk.
Motion to adjourn?
Appreciate your help, Joe.
Christian,
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Ron, second. Happy holidays, everyone.
Happy holidays.
Enjoy.
Special meetings the rest of the year, I hope. See you in
night, all.
January. Bye-bye.
Take care, everyone.
I guess.
Bye.
Bye.